Okay guys, so we're doing a little mod today. Right here with me I have the Nerf Rival Jupiter X1 X1000. And so, as you know, this blaster shoots the rival balls, and this is a beautiful looking blaster. I must admit, not only does it look good, but the ergonomics on it are pretty damn good. But who the fuck want to shoot those balls? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it and we're going to use we're gonna modify it so that it shoots half darts. And yeah, and so the plan is we're going to put in here. I have a kit that has a little metal barrel, and then I'll have to connect this to the plunger tube. And then here I have a adapter that I'm going to turn into the mag well for where the magazines connect. But let's get frame. I would like to give you a little demonstration of how it functions, but I don't really have rival balls. But if you'd like to see here, we'll just sit down in the frame. I don't know how well your third person look is, but like it's a really clean bolt action you're looking at here. Now, the plan is for actual performance upgrades, aside from getting better compression because of that metal cylinder I'm putting in there. And hopefully I make a good seal on that. That's definitely a point of concern. But I'm still deciding whether I should keep the safety as well. But I'm putting in a bigger spring. Now I got two options: an 18 kilogram spring, which is actually intended to be put in as a mod for this, and I have a 22 kilogram spring with an upgraded washer and everything. And that was actually intended for a Nerf long shot, but we'll see if it can fit. Hopefully it still catches, because I think that would be a good amount of performance coming out of this. So I just finished with a lot of the disassembly there. And so we took out this main portion. This is where we have our plunger tube right here. As you can see, it's direct plunger, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's just got this bar in between. So what we're going to do is, see this part here with the feed, right? We're going to remove this whole piece, and then we're going to probably take out this front end. And we could probably fit this into the front end right here. And then this pusher is going to be connected into the plunger tube. And these two, when they go together, that's going to create the seal. And it also has a few little O-rings. So let's see how that goes. Okay, so as you can see, we took it apart. This part here, this still functions normally. You can separate this out. So look, okay. But this is the piece that we'll be taking out. So this whole piece will just come out. And then here is still the other side of the plunger tube. So that just goes in here. And so when these go back together, this will slide in like this. So now on this end here, this is where I have to attach this piece. I think that, wow, that's actually a good fit. I actually might slot it in from the other side. I think that's how it's intended to be. I'll probably put a ring in there or something to hold it in. But now I'll switch to the fitment in the shells. Okay, great. So I had to switch to tripod. I can't hold this camera anymore. But as you can see here, I've taken this piece, right, and I slotted in. This literally just slides right in. So this is actually pretty good. I'll actually, down in the description, I will put a link to where I got the kit. It's from China. I don't know what to tell you. But this, I wanted some tension behind here, behind here, just so that this is kind of held into place for now. So that's why I put the assembly back together. But there's no screws in it right now. But, I mean, you can see the assembly still works fine. Let me come out a little bit here. And, so this would slot back in here. Whoa, oh Lord. It's okay, I can put the trigger back in later. But this will slot in all like this. And then how this will work is this will slide right into this orifice here. And then, yeah, I'll line it up and I will get back to you. Everything should be fitting more or less properly now. I realized I should put this on the outside because it wasn't getting close enough here. So I will, which is even easier because honestly that means I just need to adhere it to the outer rim on the inside, like the outward facing side of the inner rim, which is nice. It's just convenient. And if you look at it, wow, look at this. This will just slide like this. Boom. This will obviously be connected to this side here. Right, as you can see, it'll just be snug in there. And so that when this is this, boom, slides back and forth. And when it slides in all the way, boom, it'll make a nice seal with the O-rings here. And then, boom, you release the trigger and it's all set. So now we're gonna switch and see if I can put in a bigger spring. The other thing here is I'm debating whether I want to go ahead with the reassembly after I change the spring, or I should do any painting first. But I think the responsible thing to do is to get the fitment correct for the, actually while I'm at it, we're probably gonna go ahead and start the fitment for the magazine, okay? Okay, and I'm back. And so, took the mag out of my try-on. I believe it's a Talon mag. I believe that's the term for the straight mags. But boom, locks in, right? So this is, if this is where this is going to be, I need that when this comes out, okay, slide all the way back, and let me get this out here. When this is here, see, this is an issue because that would mean the mag has to be loaded really far forward. All right. I don't know if you see, like, ideally I was looking to have the mag loaded underneath this where this Picatinny rail is, but if this part is not gonna go nearly as far back, like, I don't think I can use this as a pusher correctly. Like, I'm not getting a lot of clearance here, so I will have to keep it pretty damn far forward. Let me see if I just put it in here, you can get an approximate, right? This is how this would look. And then, interesting design, actually. I could have it mounted on the side like this, but well, because it's spring loaded, it's not gravity. But as this goes forward, boom, it's feeding. All right. Oh, and this is getting stuck here. Okay, this is actually going to be a problem. We will see what I come up with. But yeah, and if you can't see what I'm talking about, I mean, like, the lip of the mag well is getting caught on the orange piece right here. Just so I can give you a little behind the scenes here, I'm at a bit of a crossroads, right? Because on one hand, if I put this metal piece behind here on the inner side, it just won't seal. Like, it's just not long enough to make this seal, and this seal being is really important for the performance, right? I can't just be losing a shit ton of air. At that point, like, if it was gonna, no, like, that's ridiculous. But by putting it behind, I get more room for the feeding of the mag well. And the thing is, I don't want it to just be a single shot. Like, I don't want to just have to load in one bullet at a time every time. It's important that it has a magazine. But on the other hand, when I put it the opposite direction, and so I have this in the front, so it makes a good seal, there is almost no clearance. Now, the question is, what can I do here in the back end of the internals to make that happen? So I could get a longer rod here, and I would have to compensate by getting a longer plunger as well. And then, but that would just move the whole, and then I'd have to keep this in the back here, or when this is in the front end, the question is, how do I make this whole thing travel back? Well, I could cut more out of, I don't know if you can see that. I could cut more out so there's more travel for this red piece. I'm afraid that might make the bolt funky as fuck. Honestly, from the looks of it, it might be better to have this in the backwards position where it's on the inside, and then make this arm and the plunger longer. But how am I even gonna get out of these arms? Like, I could 3D print these arms, but that is actually a pain in the ass. And, well, we'll have to see, right? Okay, so in the end, I decided that I will be going with, that I'm gonna keep this at the front end so that the fitment is correct there. And then we will have to see how I can get the magazine to fit in. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to see if how much of a bigger spring I could put in. Now, let me open this one up here. So this is the stock spring, right? I'll give you a little size comparison in a second. And then the two options, I don't know if I spoke about them already, but one of them was an 18 kilogram spring. Now this was intended as an upgrade. This one, the thing I don't like about it is it's, I forgot what the spring term for it is, but it's unbounded, you know, it doesn't have kept with the flat part here. You can see the comparison of what I'm talking about here at the ends. But look, it is slightly longer. And if I go to compress this one with my hand, very able compared to if I go to compress this longer one. This is 18 kilograms of force, and I'm really squeezing it. And then, ideally, because I was trying to get a lot of performance out of this, I have an even bigger one. Now, this one is intended for not only, like, look how much bigger the diameter is on this one. The other two can easily fit within it. This is the stock one. Easily fit within it. But as I was saying, this one is 22 kilograms of force. This one takes quite the amount of force, dude. But if I can get this in here, so I will show you in a second. Honestly, like from the looks of it, this should lengthwise fit. My question is whether the diameter will be too much for this piece here. So we'll see. Okay, so I just wanted to give you guys a little progress update, right? So what I did is I finished putting in, so this is all good. And here, let me see if you can see this. Right here, you can see through the clear part. You should be able to see the metal. That's the pusher, and I attached it to the front of the plunger tube. And the other thing is the previous piece, the piece that I took out, where it had the feed tube for the rival balls, I disassembled it and I took this out. And I'll explain that in a second. But the good thing is, right, first of all, it's only loosely fit together now, so you might hear the sound of it. But I just wanted to see if everything goes together fine. And actually, right now, if I prime it, the only thing for priming it, you gotta be careful right now, is the blaster has obviously a lot of locks built into it. I might take the locks out after, but for now, I have to manually select the thing that forces it to be allowed to be open. But primes, catches, goes. All right, it's all set. And then, let me take a single half dart round. Whoa. Load this in here. Let me shoot at something you can see, but turn the safety off. I don't know if you catch that on camera, but it shoots pretty damn well for now. And so that's pretty good to see, and I'm glad everything's working. And also remember, that is with still the stock spring in here. So once we upgrade to that 18 kilogram spring, this one here, the concern is whether it'll be able to catch, but if I need to put in a stronger catch spring, I have that as an option. But now what we have to do is we're gonna have to make an incision in the bottom here so I could fit in where the mag adapter is gonna go so that the magazines can be loaded in. And the other thing I need to do is, so I don't know if you saw, but when I primed the gun, I kept it upright. And the reason I did this is because by removing this piece here, right? Here, let me see if you can see this. It has these little nubs, and the nubs keep it on a rail, right? So it doesn't let it, when it's going, it doesn't let it shift down, right? But now that this piece is removed, after you prime it, if the blast is being held properly, it'll shift down, and then it won't go back properly, and it won't correctly make a seal, so you can't make a fire. You have to, that's why I had to put it up right so it'll correctly fit in. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna cut down a piece of this, and then I'm gonna also adhere this to where the metal pusher is, and so that these nubs can work again and it'll keep it on the rail. Okay, so as you can see, what I did is I took out the main plunger assembly and I disassembled it again, and then I took this out and I just took out the spring just so it's easier to work with. But here's your catch, in case you didn't know. All right. locked in, come out, catch, releases it, right? But put this in, right? So this you'll see will align with on this black piece, this first little square, right? Oh fuck, gotta make it so you can see that. But this is what I'm talking about. Do you see how this is at an angle? Like this is going to be held in straight when the other side of the housing is in. That's not a problem. Even right now, you can see it's held in straight. But this should not be on an angle. It needs to be straight. And even with the tension of the spring, it's not going to stay straight. And so here, that is the groove that this used to sit on. All right? This would have been this way with the air restrictor towards the side, and it would go in like that. So we need to find a way to make this work. So I realized actually, I don't know if you could see this, but it actually already has rails. These parts, these two parts, these they slot into here. So what I'm hearing is that when it's on its side like this, it should work just fine. The real question is when it's back, right? It's getting like pulled up onto this plunger port here, and then it's gonna fall downwards, and then you have an issue. So if I can find a way to rectify that, but I think honestly what might be the solution is when this comes in, boom, it's gonna hold it up. So I don't even know if I should be concerned about that right now. I'll be honest, I'm still getting used to this whole camera thing, but just for now, because it's cumbersome, I actually took out this part here, just the back end of the of where I'm gonna be doing it. And so what I did is I also took out this rail from the bottom here, and just for reference, okay, well it's hard to show it now that this is taken out, but if I put this approximately back, when this is here, you can see that this does not go, what's it called, here. I will have to put it back for a moment. But, and I actually will separate this as well so you can see the fitment. But when this is on, right, okay, so you can see I put it back good. Even with the rail removed from the bottom, this is not enough space for even just the half-dart magazine to fit, let alone the magazine with the adapter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a portion here. I'm going to tape it off. I'm going to cut it out, and I'm going to have to cut significantly close to the front here, which is what I'm worried about, because I don't want to compromise the structural integrity of the blaster. But I guess you got to do what you got to do, right? So let's see. Okay, so okay, so what I realized is I went back and looked at this, and I saw these pieces here on the side, and I realized this is what's guiding it. This is what's guiding the long rail, and that's why there's a little bit of a gap for to move around. And so what I did is I was experimenting here, that's why I took out the air restrictor. But there was another piece on this side, and so I took it out. I cut it here, and I put it on the side where it's supposed to be. And now you can see if I put it in, slides along the rail just fine. And I don't know if you realize, I kept it in the furthest back position because that's where it would need the most support, because when this is all the way back, it needs to catch as much as it can to keep it upright. And now I'm gonna just go ahead and cut the other one, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, just a reminder, also when you work with power tools, make sure to wear eye protection. Right? Yeah, I know I got goofy ass eye protection, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so here we're just gonna throw a little bit of this adhesive on. See? Just spread it out a bit, and then flip it over, put that in place, and I just hold it here for a moment. I hold it steady. I try and keep it pretty level. I thought about I could angle it slightly outwards to see if I get a better fitment because of it, but I thought it's not worth the risk. I just, because then I'd have to mold it again. So we're just gonna hold it like this, and then in a moment it'll be done, and I'll put it back in the rail. I'll show you. Okay, so now you can see, right? I put that back in place. Slide back forth, and when it slides, it makes a nice seal there. See? Just so you know, it's sliding well. So now we gotta put this in. But as you can see, this is what I've been talking about this whole time. Look how small this gap is. And if we just put a half dart for reference, this is where the half dart has to be. So the half dart is gonna be here, right? So that when this slides forward, loads it into the chamber, right? Then I need my half dart magazine to fit right there too, right? Where am I gonna put the whole ass adapter to hold it? Like, this is ridiculous. And I'm not gonna go ahead and, I don't wanna have to 3D print a freaking, a lower profile adapter. I wanted to just use this part, but I'm not seeing enough clearance. And it's one thing if I have to cut through this plastic to make clearance, but there's still this metal here from the actual barrel. And well, I guess we're gonna have to find out. I didn't want it to cut ahead without giving y'all but as you can see, I'm already starting to tape it off. But this is what I'm talking about here. So look, this is gonna be in here. And this, right, it's gonna slide forward, it's gonna push it, come back out, new dart is loaded, slide forward, push it, and it needs to properly create that seal every time. And you know what, I thought about if I mount it on the side now, and I was like, you know what, this would solve one of my problems because it's a very sniper rifle build. You don't want a long magazine out the front because then you can't, you mount it, not necessarily just mount it, but like rest the gun on something. And so, but I think I'm still gonna have to do that. And we're gonna solve that problem by using a low profile magazine. But for now, I'm just getting this alignment correct. And well, we'll cut it forward when you can see me after I cut through the shell. So I'm just gonna talk here a little bit while I'm doing this. Honestly, you probably saw me do it once or twice when I cut through it, but I actually went through 3 or 4 times just to make sure I want to get this fitment right, because this is really important. And so the thing is, I'm gonna start here by cutting out a small amount, right, just for just the mag. And I'm really considering the idea of not even having the adapter and having to find a different way. Maybe even pressure fitting in the mag, it just slides in, should hold it in place, and if you yank it out, it yanks out. But why it's important to start small is because it's easier to start small and then be able to carve more out of the shell later. But if you carve too much out of the shell, like you got to use putty or something, like it's not gonna feel right. So you can't put it back. It's better to start small. The other thing here though is I don't want to make my tolerances too tight, but you also don't want to make them too loose. If you make the tolerances tight, it's nice because you know, everything fits together snugly. But if the tolerances are too tight, it's more likely to have an issue, because in the actual conditions you'll be using it, you'll be beating the fuck out of the gun, right? So then if one thing gets out of place and it doesn't fit anymore, you're out of luck. While if you make it too loose, then it's just gonna be shit in general, because it's gonna be like jingling around, it'll rattle, you know, you don't want any of that. You don't want it to be making noise and stuff when you run around. But that's why it's like we do things like have flared mag wells, so it's easier to put it in, but once it's in, it's snug, right? Much Dremel work later, I've successfully cut out from both halves, okay, and then I put them together, and now you can see, slides in. Does it stay in? No. So now we're gonna have to make some sort of catch, because this shit can fucking stay in, but slides in just fine, and this should be far enough forward. Yeah, I literally left just the diagonal bit here up at the front. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I just left just the diagonal. So I'm gonna remove this. I don't even know if it's worth it to sand it down right now. Yeah, I guess I could sand it down. I'll remove all this tape, and then I'm going to have to draft how I'm gonna make this catch. So I'm like, you might even get to see the notebook. It's crazy. But I think it's looking good. And I'm glad that I could find a way to get the it together and this fitting in, because I really did not want to have to single load a fucking gun. But I think it's going sick. Okay, so we're gonna do a little catch up. Right now, there's been a little interim since the last section, and so we got our new parts in, and so instead of having to manually build a catch, I decided that it would be a lot better if I use a mag adapter like this, and then I put it in there. But the problem was, if you use a standard mag adapter, let me just grab one of those for you. Something like this, right? This front edge will be too close to the barrel here, and it'll actively cause an issue, because I definitely can't bore out any part of this, because this is solid aluminum last I checked. And so you'll see what that would look like though. Just if you're struggling to visualize it. Jesus. Yeah, so like if this was in here, this would reach too far forward. It would be going into the metal of these pieces here, right? I'm trying to get it to feed into that metal piece right there. I'll just bring it up close so you can see it, right? That's where I want the dart to sit. That's where I want the top of the lips of the clip to sit. And so that's why we're going this clear one here. And I actually chose to go with one without the lever, because they didn't have the ones with the lever in stock. And also it's going to give the blaster a more clean design. And so ideally, after we get this situated correctly, I will put a like a flared magwell on the outside of the blaster, so you don't struggle to get these in. Right now, it's actually super tight because I had it in storage for a little bit. So I think the cold is causing some issues. But in general, it should be feeding correctly. And that's why I'm gonna leave the magazine in there for a while to get it to work. But before I move on to the next stage, where you're gonna see me cut out a greater section of this to fit the adapter in, I'm going to do a little firing demo for you guys, just so you can see how it's working right now. But keep in mind, for right now, it basically fires like a musket, which is good because you can use whatever ammo you want, right? But because once I put in this adapter and it becomes clip fed, you're only going to be using half darts, right? But I mean, you still could musket load full-size darts, but right now there's no difference. And actually, the half darts that I picked up these new ones from Worker. These are 1.2 gram darts, and so you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see there's a little gap here. Here, let me zoom that in for you. Right here. Yeah, they have a much heavier tip, which, yes, will reduce the overall FPS of them during flight, but it will keep them more stable when being shot over longer distances, and they'll have a greater resistance to. Oh, I'm sorry. This is how much. Let me get this to focus here. Yeah, this is how much extra lip I have for the darts being fed. I'll just show you what that looks like. Yeah, so this is where we want the pusher to sit and push through right here. And so it'll be all set. Oh, what I was saying, and so yeah, they'll be less affected by wind. And so ideally, if I'm going to take this out and shoot this over long distances, it'll be a better dart to use. But I can always switch back to regular half darts, or even consider in the future buying the lighter half darts if I want to increase FPS. Okay, so just it's pretty cold outside, so I don't want to take this outside. But what we're doing here is I'm just going to show you exactly what I was talking about. So I told you, until I get this magazine in, you currently load it essentially like a musket. And so what you would do is you take whatever dart you're using, so full size, right? And then I also find to get better performance if you use like essentially a makeshift ramrod, right? And so you just ram that down in there, right? And then I'll let you get a little POV here. All right, take this. Nice. Beautiful bolt action. It is a heavier pull. It takes some getting used to, I'll be honest. And let's see if I can hit, we'll see if I can hit that card game over there. Yeah. Here, I'll try another one. I'll try another with the half dart. The unfortunate thing is I don't have a chronograph yet. And so I'm unable to give you some FPS data. But when I get a chronograph, I will put up a follow-up video in case you guys are interested, where I show what the different readings are with different dart types, and see if it makes a difference. As for the accuracy, I'll be honest, it might take some tuning later. I might have to put a sight on it, see what I can do. I might also opt for a SCAR or a B-car later on. This is the other thing. You're really gonna make sure you jam the lever all the way forward. There we go. I don't know. That was actually beautiful. I didn't think I'd get that. But yeah, with something like a SCAR or a B-car, will drop those FPS ratings again, but will give you greater stability and a more consistent flight path over a longer distance. So, but all right, back to the shot. Okay, just a little final explanation before I move on to, we'll probably do a little time lapse of me actually dremeling. So a lot of people would think like, oh, why don't you, I could literally just tape out an extra section here, right? Something like this, and then Dremel more of this area, and my mag adapter should fit in. And just to prove that it should fit in this gap, if you just literally wedge this clear part in here, you could see already that it fits. But the issue is that would leave it too far back. How do I know that that's too far back? Well, if you take a look here on the inside, if you see this that big orange cylinder, right, that will get in the way. That's the plunger tube right there. It's a big part of it, and that would get in the way of the back half of the mag adapter. So what I'm actually gonna do, right, is don't get me wrong, I still might Dremel out a little of this back here, but I'm actually gonna go ahead and Dremel out this front area here, and cut in to actually a bit of the, let me rotate this for you, into this front area of the orange to cut out a gap that's good enough to get the mag adapter in there. And yes, my concern here as an engineer is that this is gonna, there is some already one important screw I had to take out here, and I no longer have space for. Oh, sorry, this one here, it's taped off. And so by cutting in here in the front, I'm actually, I have to be careful not to compromise the structural integrity of the gun, because I still need it to hold together, especially because with this caliber of spring, it's going to be under some intense forces. And so I think that is a later problem. I think I'm trading one problem for another here, and I think it's easier to solve this and make sure that I can feed this correctly, feed the magazine correctly, and then after worry about the structural integrity of the gun. And if I have to go back in and find a way to get more screws in there in the front half of the gun, then I'll do that. As for the back half of the gun, it is pretty damn well done. And also, I thought I would just show you how not everything goes perfectly. Well, I had also picked up a small magazine like this, small clip actually, and it was intended to be what I use, because the thing is, because it's a very sniper-esque design, especially because it's bolt action, with a sniper you wouldn't really want a long magazine because it would protrude too far from the bottom, and so unless your gun is perched in the middle, like the magazine would get in the way if you wanted to mount it on top of anything, right? If you want to, imagine you were putting it on top of a windowsill. And so with a lower profile magazine, it would be easier. But the mag adapter is literally too long. It's just too long to use this magazine because it's supposed to be sitting up here, and so that means all this extra area. Either my options would be to cut off all the excess here, which I'd rather not do, and it would still be unusable because I wouldn't be able to reach it. So I decided for now I might just save this for a later project. As for the flared magwell, they actually let you, you can just 3D print this really easy, and you can see it is a pretty damn beautiful 3D print. And so the intention with this one is I might have to cut it down so it's horizontal, but it's intended to sit something like this on the front of the gun. Boom. And so just to make it easier for you to get your magazine in there. All right, off to the time lapse.
Hold me close to the sunrise. Everything is gonna be alright. See the flame in your cold eyes, breaking free from the long night. Hold me close to the sunrise. Everything is gonna be
it really was looking like this was going to be super tight, if any, if possible at all, to get that in there. But I realized when I was cutting it out, I actually genuinely did have enough space for the small one. And get ready for this, when the blaster is primed forward, right, when it's created the seal for the bullet, the magazine is already locked in there. It won't come out, which is really good. And so, like, here, you'll hear me pull back the bolt right here. Let's see what happens. Here, I'll put it over the table. All right, which is a damn good feature. So, also I have my safeties in place. You can see, so I can't shoot like this, and I have my extra safety. A lot of people like to get rid of this functionality if they do any mods to this. I actually quite like it. I think the safety's sick. But as I was saying, and so the question is now, how are we going to get it to stay in there when it's functioning? Because I already test fired it, and the fitment works. Like, the fitment works correctly. I'll show you it from this side. And so, look. And it's actually almost perfectly aligned. And so I can already fire it, and if I hold the magazine adapter in place, it'll stay there. The only issue is that when I deprime it, like when I pull it back, this would then fall out. And so, right, how do I prevent this from falling out in between? But also need to be able to not have it as a permanent solution, because I need to still be able to refill the magazine. And so what I'm going to do, I'm thinking, is something along the lines of, if I put a Velcro pad right here, and then on the inside of this piece here, I put in the other part of the Velcro, then they'll Velcro together, so it'll have enough friction to hold it in place. But when I remove it, the Velcro will come apart easy, and I'll still be able to reload. And I honestly think that might be the most clean solution, because remember, I told you that's initially what I intended for this. Because when this is in here, I'll show you once again. Forgive me, all right? There we go. And so I'll show you it, and I'll just slide the bolt here first to lock it in place. Look, I can properly rest this as if I was gonna fire it, and it was down, being held on something. So imagine I'm looking over a barrier or something, or through a window. That is really good, compared to, imagine how tall this would have been if I had to use this one like this. Like, it takes away from the sniper design of it. Okay, just a quick update now. We finished with the mag fitment, and so what we're doing was we took apart all of the pieces here. You can see I have them separated, and yeah, all separated out. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna prep all these surfaces, sand them down, and then probably go over it with some adhesion promoter and then whatever paint we're using, and then we'll go from there. Moldable clay and moldable cement, whatever, and I made this right here. And keep in mind it's air dry, but I added more head to the magazine here, and what it's going to do is it's going to give me more surface area to put the Velcro on for sticking into the gun. Not to mention it adds some nice weight to the magazine. For now, I've just been propping it up in this empty mag well that I have, and so I'm going to leave it like this, just let it cure for like 24 hours, and then I'll probably go over and paint this. Okay, so I just finished brushing these off. Feels so good. You could feel that nice little rough texture on them. It's actually great. And also, what I didn't get to show you is that I had prototyped before approximately what I want my paint job to look like. So we're gonna see how much of this I can get. And if you'll notice, I made the design decision to get rid of the clear bit, just because honestly, I don't think the clear bit is doing that much for the look of the gun. Not to mention, if you look inside, then the inside needs to be painted really well, and it's a whole hassle then. So I'm gonna so that's why you see I scuffed up the clear, because I'm gonna be painting it. So. Okay, so right now I just heated up a little bit heated up my paint, so it should flow smoother, and my stuff's all prepped. And so now I'm gonna start with just a black base coat for basically everything. Some of these things, honestly, the stuff that's yellow right now, that one we're gonna go black base coat, and then we're gonna go for my like prismatic paint job on top of that. While what's it called? For everything that's orange, it's probably gonna just remain black after. So we're gonna start with that. Honestly, you gotta make sure to fucking barely shake the fuck out of you. It's been a while since I've used this can too, so Jesus.
Need a
obviously I've left some places unpainted because they're not going to be seen, so it's going to make a difference. And the other thing is I've also finished my prep for the things that are going to get the prismatic paint. So here you can see I've blocked off this, just went over it, taped it up, used a little X-Acto knife. Here, a little special one, I'm actually going to try and see if I can get this this mesh kind of pattern to the paint. Okay, so I'm back with ready to do this prismatic, and so this is the paint that I'll be using today. It's a duplicolor blue to green color shift, that's what they call it. And honestly, I don't know how well it will work. First of all, it's automotive paint and I'm putting it on plastic, where like an effect like this is usually intended to be put on metal. It's the same if you buy the metallic paints. Also just remember to thoroughly shake the paint. I just warmed it up, so it should be flowing pretty well. But the other thing is that I've never used it before, and I couldn't find pictures really of how this one specifically turns out. And I bought it for this paint, so we're gonna hope it turns out well. And let's do it. Update. So what I did is I put on the let me see if I get this. I put on one side of the Velcro here, and I was checking the size of the other one. And so what we're gonna do is, unfortunately, the moldable clay, part of it broke off this back piece here. It's not really an issue at all. But my concern is, does that indicate that more of it's more likely to crack and break off? Because already I had some significant cracks in the back and in the bottom here. So I'm going to hope as much of it can stand as possible. I'm going to start sanding this down a little bit. And then we'll see. And then I'll get the Velcro on the other side of this and we'll get it set up. Okay guys, I wanted to come back in and show you what the final product looks like. Boom. Look at that. Yeah, and so I'll go over a little bit on the paint job here. As you can see, you can look at this matte black, that's on part of it. And then as you go through it, you'll see that prismatic. I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but looks purple at some angles, green with the others. Let me throw a little mod on there. Also, you can see this nice little textured look to it. I don't know in the light how well you'll be able to pick it up. Go back through here. You see that red accent really looks good. See this logo. Yeah, I think it looks beautiful. Also here you can see this is what it looks like with the magazine connected, and I'll probably just cut to a little firing demo so you can see that the magazine works. And side by side, we'll just see how it sizes up compared to me. But damn good looking blaster, I would say. Also just wanted to give you a little top angle here. Here I'm pretty sure, now you can, at this angle you should be able to see the green. And that is actually all one thing. The green and the purple is actually the same, just depending on the angle you look at it, which is really nice. And you can see I left the red accents of the trigger and the bolt. So. And it is the same on both sides here. So you get that texturing look. Like that. POV. Okay, also just before I went outside and showed you the little fire demo, I wanted to show you, first of all, I still kept features like the safety, which I think it's sick. I like that. And also, this is the magazine disconnecting. Sorry about to load the darts in here. Just nice little Velcro. Comes right out. No problem. So you can see it did take some force there, which means it's pretty damn secure. And then you just load it up, and I will show you what it looks like when we're outside. Okay, and so forgive me if my backyard is not the cleanest. But before we go over the firing demo, I just wanted to show you what it looks like. First of all, for loading it, this is a big thing. Because of the way the pusher is seated when it goes through the gap here, it means you can't load the magazine in until the bolt is pulled back. So all you need to do, let's see, make sure you're catching that. Yeah, all you need to do is pull the bolt back. Sorry, it's a pretty heavy prime, I'll be honest. And then just load your magazine in. Boom, it's in there. You see it's held in properly. Even with the bolt back, it's not going anywhere. But then all you do, ram your bolt forward. It should be good to fire. And also you got to remember that safety. And now when the bolt is forward, the pusher tube locks the magazine, so there's no possible winds coming out. So let me just get a different angle here so you can see it. It's a little cold out. But also keep in mind, if the performance doesn't look super great, it's pretty damn good. Definitely over 100 FPS, I would say. But I don't have a chronograph. But the other thing is I'm using heavier darts. I'm using 1.2 gram darts, which are 20% heavier than standard half darts. And that is because they should have a more straight flight path, which is less affected by wind, which makes a difference because it's literally windy out right now. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but let's see how it performs. Well, I don't know if I got that. Yeah, that's the thing about this bolt. You have to really jam it all the way forward. Oh, one sec. I forgot something. That is the one issue I do have. Yeah, that's because I accidentally loaded two right there. Sometimes if the magazine doesn't seat correctly, then it doesn't push the next dart up because the plunger is still blocking it. So, but literally, like, if any touch of the magazine fixes that issue, and if I was to go back in later, I could fix that. It's actually a pretty small issue. But for now, I'm gonna leave it as is. I'll actually talk to you about some long-term aesthetic changes. I could make some small ones to it, but did I shoot all six? I think I might have. I'm not really concerned about issues if I dry fire it. Made the mechanism pretty robust in there. Yeah. Well, as for those changes I was talking about for the aesthetics, you see these parts that I left matte black here on both sides of it. I might go in, put some custom tagging in fine line red, maybe my name, and actually the other thing, actually, if you let me see that green, I don't know if you see it on the camera, but the paint job is actually inspired by dragonflies, like the creature, and that's why I have that purple to green prismatic. And actually the red accent is, sometimes you see like the eyes of the dragonfly have a red to them, and so that's why I kept the red. But that's why I might go in and either write like dragonfly in red, fine line work. It's a little out of my wheelhouse, but I'm sure I can make it work. And then even if I really am feeling ambitious, I'll take a picture of the silhouette of a dragonfly, and I'll try and draw it in here. But overall, this is final product for now, I think it looks pretty damn good, honestly. Tell me what you think down in the comments.